2008 to 2010 political crisis. The People's Power Party, Thailand, PPP, led by Samak Sundaravage, formed a government with 5 smaller parties. Following several court rulings against him in a variety of scandals, and surviving a vote of no confidence, and protesters blockading government buildings and airports, in September 2008, Sundaravage was found guilty of conflict of interest by the Constitutional Court of Thailand, who, due to being host of a TV cooking program, and thus ended his term in office. He was replaced by PPP member Somkai Wongsuwat. As of October 2008, Wongsuwat was unable to gain access to his offices, which were occupied by protesters from the People's Alliance for Democracy. On the 2nd of December 2008, Thailand's Constitutional Court, in a highly controversial ruling, found the People's Power Party, PPP, guilty of electoral fraud, which led to the dissolution of the party according to the law. It was later alleged in media reports that at least one member of the judiciary had a telephone conversation with officials working for the office of the Privy Council and one other person. The phone call was taped and has since circulated on the internet. In it, the callers discuss finding a way to ensure the ruling PPP party would be disbanded. Accusations of judicial interference were leveled in the media, but the recorded call was dismissed as a hoax. However, in June 2010, supporters of the eventually disbanded PPP were charged with tapping a judge's phone. Immediately following what many media described as a judicial coup, a senior member of the armed forces met with factions of the governing coalition to get their members to join the opposition, and the Democrat Party was able to form a government, a first for the party since 2001. The leader of the Democrat Party, and former leader of the opposition, Abhisit Vijayjiva, was appointed and sworn in as the 27th Prime Minister, together with a new cabinet, on the 17th of December 2008. In April 2009, protests by the National United Front of Democracy Against Dictatorship, UDD, or Red Shirts, forced the cancellation of the 4th East Asia Summit after protesters stormed the Royal Cliff Hotel venue in Pattaya, smashing the glass doors of the venue to gain entry, and a blockade prevented the Chinese premier at the time, Wen Jiabao, from attending. About a year later, a set of new Red Shirts protests resulted in 87 deaths, mostly civilian, and some military, and 1,378 injured. When the army tried to disperse protesters on the 10th of April 2010, the army was met with automatic gunfire, grenades, and fire bombs from an opposition faction in the army. This resulted in the army returning fire with rubber bullets and some live ammunition. During the time of the Red Shirt protests against the government, there were numerous grenade and bomb attacks against government offices and the homes of government officials. Gas grenades were fired at Yellow Shirt protesters, who were protesting against the Red Shirts and in favor of the government, by unknown gunmen killing one pro-government protester. The government stated that the Red Shirts were firing the weapons at civilians. Red Shirts continued to hold a position in the business district of Bangkok, and it was shut down for several weeks. On the 3rd of July 2011, the opposition Pheu Thai Party, led by Yingluck Shinawatra, the youngest sister of Thaksin Shinawatra, won the general election by a landslide, 265 seats in the House of Representatives, out of 500. She had never previously been involved in politics, Pheu Thai campaigning for her with the slogan Thaksin Thinks, Pheu Thai Acts. Yingluck was the nation's first female prime minister, and her role was officially endorsed in a ceremony presided over by King Bhumibol Adulyadej. The Pheu Thai Party is a continuation of Thaksin's Thai Rak Thai Party. 2013 to 2014 political crisis. Protests recommenced in late 2013 as a broad alliance of protesters, led by former opposition deputy leader Suthep Thaugsuban, demanded an end to the Thaksin regime. A blanket amnesty for people involved in the 2010 protests, altered at the last minute to include all political crimes, including all convictions against Thaksin, triggered a mass show of discontent, with numbers variously estimated between 98,500 of the police and 400,000. An aerial photo survey done by the Bangkok Post, taking to the streets. The Senate was urged to reject the bill to quell the reaction, but the measure failed. A newly named group, the People's Democratic Reform Committee, PDRC, along with allied groups, escalated the pressure, with the opposition Democrat Party resigning en masse to create a parliamentary vacuum. Protesters' demand variously evolved as the movement's numbers grew, extending a number of deadlines and demands that became increasingly unreasonable or unrealistic, yet attracting a groundswell of support. They called for the establishment of an indirectly elected People's Council in place of Yingluck's government that would cleanse Thai politics and eradicate the Thaksin regime. In response to the protests, Yingluck dissolved parliament on the 9th of December 2013 and proposed a new election for the 2nd of February 2014, a date that was later approved by the Election Commission. The PDRC insisted that the Prime Minister stand down within 24 hours, regardless of her actions, with 160,000 protesters in attendance at Government House on the 9th of December. Yingluck insisted that she would continue her duties until the scheduled election in February 2014, urging the protesters to accept her proposal. Now that the government has dissolved parliament, I ask that you stop protesting and that all sides work towards elections. I have backed down to the point where I don't know how to back down any further. In response to the Electoral Commission, EC's registration process for party list candidates for the scheduled election in February 2014, anti-government protesters marched to the Thai-Japanese Sports Stadium, the venue of the registration process, on the 22nd of December 2013. Suthep and the PDRC led the protest, which security forces claimed that approximately 270,000 protesters joined. Yingluck and the Pheu Thai Party reiterated their election plan and anticipated presenting a list of 125 party list candidates to the EC. On the 7th of May 2014, the Constitutional Court ruled that Yingluck would have to step down as the Prime Minister, as she was deemed to have abused her power in transferring a high-level government official. On the 21st of August 2014, she was replaced by Army Chief General Prayut Chan-o-cha. 2014 coup d'état. On the 20th of May 2014, the Thai army declared martial law and began to deploy troops in the capital, denying that it was a coup attempt. On the 22nd of May, the army admitted that it was a coup and that it was taking control of the country and suspending the country's constitution. On the same day, the military imposed a curfew between the hours of 22 to 5 o'clock, ordering citizens and visitors to remain indoors during this period. On the 21st of August 2014, the National Assembly of Thailand elected the Army Chief, General Prayut Chan-o-cha, as Prime Minister. Martial law was declared formally ended on the 1st of April 2015. Uniformed or ex-military men have led Thailand for 55 of the 83 years since absolute monarchy was overthrown in 1932. Observed one journalist in 2015. The rise of fascism in Thailand began around the coup, first coined by James Taylor of University of Adelaide in 2011. After the junta took control, academics and political commentators started to identify a political system by fascism. Pithiah Pukaman and James Taylor called it New Right, consisting of ultra-conservatives, reactionaries, semi-fascists, pseudo-intellectuals and former leftists. John Draper, an academic and political commentator, noted that the rise of fascism in Thailand began in 2014. The king's sufficient economy was mentioned that it serves as one of the ideological foundations of the military regime and reminiscent of fascist regimes in Europe in the 1930s. Military junta, 2014 to 2019. The ruling junta led by Prayut Chan-o-cha promised to hold new elections, but wanted to enact a new constitution before the elections were held. An initial draft constitution was rejected by government officials in 2015. A national referendum, the first since the 2014 coup, on a newly drafted constitution was held on the 7th of August 2016. There was a 55% turnout, of which around 61% voted in favor of the constitution. Under the new constitution, an unelected person, other than a member of parliament, can be appointed as prime minister, which would open the post to a military official. The new constitution also gives the National Council for Peace and Order the authority to make all the appointments to the 250-member Senate in the next government. Maha Vajiralongkorn reign, 2016-present. On the 13th of October 2016, King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand died at the age of 89 in Siriraj Hospital in Bangkok. On the night of the 1st of December 2016, the 50th day after the death of Bhumibol, Regent Prem Tinsulandanda led the heads of the country's three branches of government to an audience with Vajiralongkorn to invite him to ascend to the throne as the 10th king of the Chakri dynasty. In April 2017, King Vajiralongkorn signs the new constitution, which will aid in the return to democracy. In May 2017, Bangkok hospital was bombed, wounding 24 people on the third anniversary of the military coup of 2014. In June 2019, both houses of Thailand's parliament elected Prayuth Chan-o-cha, retired general and former military junta leader, as the country's next prime minister. The vote officially restored civilian rule in Thailand. The opposition complained of voting irregularities in the March 24 elections. In February 2020, pro-democracy party Future Forward, the third largest party in the parliament with 80 seats, was disbanded. The ruling was made by the Constitutional Court because of a donation the party's founder, Thanathorn Juangroangruangkit, made for the party. In September 2022, Thailand's Constitutional Court ruled that Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha can stay in office. The opposition had challenged him because the new constitution limits the term for Prime Minister as a total period of 8 years in office. The Constitutional Court's ruling was that his term in office began in April 2017, simultaneously with the new constitution, although General Prayuth had ruled as the leader of the government since the 2014 military coup.